Welcome to the Tactics Talk for Man U versus Leicester. Sam, we've just played them a week ago yesterday in the Cup.
Yeah.
Obviously, we lost 5-2. I don't think it was a bad result as people think it is. Again, people look at the result and think 5 goals conceded, not great. But I don't think they were that great. I don't think, again, we put out a B side. But now we're going in the Premier League. More than likely, it will be a full-strength team going into this game. What's your take on this one? Because, again, now we've gone past the first 10, which in my eyes were kind of easy. Again, no games are easy in the Premier League, but compared to the first 10 to the next 10, this is where it starts to get a bit tougher for us.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, obviously the first 10 games, there's a lot of teams in and around us. Some different ones, that you might not have noticed. But the next 10, they are a bit more challenging. Obviously, a bit more healthy mix from the teams up near the top. So obviously, it's going to put us in a situation where we are going to have to pick up points against some of the better teams, or not. But Man U, I think it's a good starting point. They're obviously sacked their manager because they're doing rubbish. I mean, if we beat them, we go ahead of them.
Mm.
So, they're obviously not doing great. Let's not take that for granted. They are dropping points to the teams in and around us. I think if we do set up right, we could get there.
Yeah, as we get into the team, there's a few shouts for a few players that we'll talk about a bit later on. But we will get straight into the team then, Sam. I'm guessing, like every week, we kind of do pick the same keeper. But again, Danny Ward was in goal versus them last week. And to say he conceded 5, I think, is a bit of a damner for him. But again, there's only one man for this job, isn't it?
Yeah, again, Hermanson, it's not really a debate at the moment. There's no one challenging for the keeper spot. I
think we were talking about him earlier before we went live and saying about how all the players this season who you'd say that has had a good season.
I guess you say in the first 10 games, the one that's been consistent is the keeper, and that's the case for most teams, isn't it? The keeper's always usually the consistent one. You don't really tend to find your keepers do that bad. So yeah, Hermanson in the team.
Yeah, again, I don't think he's had less than maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10 most games this season. So I think out of everyone in the team, he has deserved this spot. And again, I called it. I think in the next couple of years, he could be at one of the big teams in the league in my eyes because of how well he is, and he is that keeper who can play from the back.
Again, let's say keeper's one of those things that dime a dozen, aren't they? Really, a lot of them come across quite a lot, if you ask me, to be honest with you. So I think Hermanson could find himself, at Aston Villa maybe in the future. If they keep up their good form, I wouldn't say top 6 club, but he's definitely on his way to hopefully stays at Leicester with us. Because it's just one of those things where he's kind of solved the Casper going issue, because that was a lot of the issue we had in the season we got relegated. Yeah,
go on then, Sam. Moving into the defence. Yeah. Obviously, there is a lot of chat about certain players not performing to their high standards.
But
go on.
Obviously,
you go.
10 games in, this is a great point to find out what is the best starting 11. And as most fans, me, you, Phil, Tom, and all the Leicester Fan TV crew, we would all probably pick a completely different starting 11 because none of us know. I don't think anyone really knows the best starting 11. Is that the best thing to be in this position? I don't think it's the worst thing, but I think it does have its downsides too. That does show you that the lads are on the pitch. Every single one of them, they're inconsistent, really, aren't they? There's not one player, minus Hermanson, I'd say, that's been consistent enough in the team so far, which is, obviously opens up for some of these players like Samari, as you can see on the screen, to have a decent performance against Ipswich and be in content for the starting 11.
Yeah, go on then, Sam. Give us your predictions for your defence.
I'll go left back to right back. I'm going to start Justin at left back. Again, I think he's a much better defender and attacking. I think he's better on that left side with someone who's more solid, and that right side could be a bit more open. And I would put Pereira at my right back, but obviously he seems to be playing that inverted role. So I would start Pereira as the natural right back. So I'm putting him in there, but if Pereira starts, he's the inverted defensive mid, which I can't stand, to be honest with you. I think it's just woke football going crazy. I'm not a massive fan of it. I like to just see players in the right positions, and I think Pereira's better at that right back / right wing back rather than the inverted defensive mid. So that's how I start the left and right back.
See, I was about to go to the same formation, but I am going to very quickly change it if I can, because I'm going for a three at the back. I'm trying to think which one's best. I will go for this one for now, I think. Yeah, we'll go for this one. There we go. So I'm going to go this formation just because I think it suits us better. Than the last two games against Forest in the first half, I think it was probably the best half of football we played. Against Ipswich, we did play the same sort of style, but we just didn't look like we were up for the fight in my eyes. So I think keeping this formation though, and I'm going to go with the back three of Vestergaard. I think since he's come back in the last game, again, it wasn't the best performance, but I think we're more solid with him in the back line. I'm going to go with a Coley on the left. As much as I'd like to choose someone else, there's no other really choices other than Cody, but I'm not letting him in when we've got these three players.
God, this has got mistakes written all over it.
And Faze at the back line
this
as
has
well.
got another 5-2 written all over it. Mistakes.
There we go.
Jesus.
There we go. That's the back line I'd take.
Well, I'm going to completely switch it around. I think Fies and Akoli have both been shocking in the past few games, so they both deserve to be dropped. Fies against Forest was very poor, and he looks to moan to everyone else. So for me, he's out. Akoli against Manchester United, he looked like a Sunday League player with a wooden leg. Get him out of my team as well. I'm putting Vestergaard and Cody in there for Man U. I think we need to switch it around because I think these players are getting too complacent. And I think I'm not enjoying what I see from those two as a centre back. I think they have great games, but in the past couple games, they just show that it's not good enough. They're too inconsistent for me. That I don't think any place should be guaranteed. I'd rather see a complete swap around against Man U because it's one of those teams where it's going to be tough. So I would rather have some of that experience in there.
I think Craig agrees with you, mate.
And Fies, because I don't think they're good enough. I think they're way too inconsistent. And Cody and Vestergaard, I think, they can at least be more consistent. And if it's not even about consistency, for me, Fies and Ockley have been poor in the past two games where I think that they should be swapped around. And I think there should be this healthy competition to say, listen, Fies, you make those mistakes against Forest. Ockley, you make those mistakes against Manchester United. You're going to get dropped. You're not guaranteed in my team. And I think that's where a lot of the issues lies. That it's just so inconsistent that I'm not impressed that I've had to put those two at my centre backs, but it's just not consistent enough for me to be happy with how we're playing at the moment at the defence.
I think if it was me, I would just have that one of them two in there with Vestergaard, just because of the.
They both make mistakes.
It's more. I think it's more the pace of the game. Again, them two at the back, you're gonna ask for trouble in that back line. For me, in my eyes, it's just
you're
too slow.
asking for trouble when Fies does a really shit header back to Hermanson and gives Chris Wood a free goal for the third one. That for me is asking for trouble when a defender is complacent and plays Sunday League style football.
Fair enough. Craig does say here that he'd changed JJ. I'm guessing for Christiansen.
Again, Christiansen is not. I don't hate him. I think I'm mainly saying that because he's still injured. I don't know if Christiansen's back.
I think he is back in fit. I think he's back in training, but I don't think he's fit enough just yet. He did. He played against Ipswich, didn't he? Yeah.
I said Justin or Christiansen. I don't have an issue with either of them. I didn't know if Christiansen was 100% fit yet, but I think both of them do a solid job at the left back and again healthy competition.
KS here also says, who would have thought a couple of years ago Vestergaard would have been our best centre back? He is in his views anyway. Again, quality wise, I think he is probably about there, but it's just his pace is not there.
He started the first few games and looked fairly solid, didn't he? Definitely held up that defence a lot better, I think. Kept it more calm with the experience. I think, against Spurs and the earlier on teams when he started Vestergaard, you could see that, okay, he's actually doing all right. And obviously the pace of the game is different, and, maybe that is where you have a faster centre-back in someone like Fies or Ockley. But for me, I'm a little bit annoyed with how they both played in the past couple of games where I think that places shouldn't be guaranteed. I don't think you can have a bad game and get away with it in this league. I don't think it should be.
I do think Vestergaard has a certain way about him. He plays well in certain systems.
Signed him for 3 years deal, haven't we? So we've got him to use. And
Yeah.
Who
Well,
knows?
let's move into midfield then. Obviously, I'm gonna go for mine first because it's a bit different. You know he's gonna be in there, don't you? You know he's gonna be in there. I'm gonna go with Ricardo firstly, just because he plays in that role now for us when we play that three at the back. And he does obviously come into the right back role when it comes into defence. And then on the other side, there's only one man for it. Sumare, get him in. Deserves his space after getting a draw against Ipswich, and for me, probably one of the best performances he's had in a Leicester shirt. To say that he's not had many at all, but he deserves his spot. I think again, Wolf. I don't think has had the best couple of games the last few games. So give somebody who looks to be in a bit of a better form.
I hear what you're saying. And
I know people have slander on Seymour Sano.
Well, yeah, because he's a bad player, and he has been.
Been a bad player.
Well, he did one good thing against Ipswich, and that makes him a world beater. But I'm not going to slate Samari. I didn't really watch the Ipswich game, so I can't comment on if he deserves to be in that team or not. But if fair enough, like I said, if you're going to have healthy competition in and around that, still type in. Would you pick Samari? I don't know if I would, to be honest with you, Read it. I'm not so sure.
He's the new Yaya Toure, mate. That's what he is. New Yaya Toure.
He's going to get banned for 4 years, isn't he?
New Yaya Toure is coming. But yeah, go on then, Sam. Your midfield. I've obviously put my risky players in.
Samari, I can't comment on it too much because I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch the Ipswich game. I saw what he did, and I think we were lucky. I think he definitely it was lucky to get away with it not being a foul.
Really? I didn't think any of them were fouls. I thought there was a fair challenge.
I think that 50-50 could have gone either way. The second one, he did 2 fouls. The second one, I don't know who it was, their right back or left back. That wasn't a foul, Samari's running with the ball. But the first one, a little bit of a shot from behind. Like you said, I'm not 100% sure on Samari, but
Mark Atwood says let Samari can actually show what he's not been before. Consistency again. The last couple of games for me has been a bit more consistent. Maybe I honestly don't think he will start, but I think he deserves.
How do we classify consistency? Did he start against Man U?
Yes.
And we lost 5-2. So how's that consistent?
Performance based.
No, I don't care about performance. In that team, we
gave away goals.
We still lost 5-2.
I don't look at the results like that, but
okay, well I do.
Performance wise, I thought we played Man U off the park a lot of this game. And that's been
well done, lads,
that's been
playing them off the park to lose 5-2. That's good, isn't it?
Go on then, let's get your midfielders in.
Okay, I'm not putting Samari in my team. I'm going to put Skip and Winks in there.
Bloody hell. That's the first time we've ever going to play Skip and Winks together. We've not played Skip and Winks together before.
Yeah,
we haven't. I promise you.
I promise you we have.
I don't think we have.
Do you want to put £10 on the line for it? Because I know we have.
Is this starting?
Yep, they both started in at least one game.
This might be because of Ndidi is higher up, so I'm not giving you that.
Exactly.
But
get your facts in order, really.
But these two have not played together with a attacking mid. I know that.
Well, again, like I say, I'm gonna swap it around. Winks and Skip, and again, Ndidi, Samari, blah blah blah. There's so many places to mix around. I think Skip's been a bit invisible, I'd say, and not because he's not been playing. Because he's not been playing. I've not seen him in the team. I don't know why, really. I think Fort Skip was doing fairly solid before, we've been mixing it around. We lost 4-2 to Arsenal with Ndidi. Does that mean we drop him? Well, he's not in my team for the Man U game. So, like I say, I think Ndidi is a good player and he has his qualities. But again, like I said, there's so many inconsistencies with a lot of these players at the moment that there isn't really one player that I'd say guarantees the spot other than Hermanson.
Mm-hmm. Craig also says, "Do you not think they're quite similar?" But I'm guessing Sumari and Ndidi, or Skip and Winks. Maybe they'll be saying that Skip and Winks are the same player.
It depends on how you want to play it. For me, that those two are better at holding the ball and driving it forward. And I think when you've got Mavididi and Fatu, which obviously alludes to who I'm playing on the wings, when you've got those two in there, I think they allow the wingers to have more creative freedom because you can drive the ball faster then. And Didi's good at stopping the ball and doing the tackles, as is Samari, I guess, to some extent. But I think those two are potentially better at driving the ball. And Samari might fit into that team in some way, shape, or form. Like I say, I can't comment on it too much because I didn't watch it. So.
Have you just said that you're alluding to both of them wingers being in your team?
Yes. So
you actually putting them in after saying you've been slating them the last 3 hours.
I've been slating them like most fans should because they've been poor. they have not been good enough. But the options are not very
They're limited,
thick.
yeah.
You know, we don't have many options there. And like I said, I think they're both complacent. I don't know if they over try to do things. I think Mavididi can just get lazy at times. And I think Fatawu does potentially overthink a lot of his moves. And, you know, when he's running against, I mean, God knows who's Man U's back for us, but I know they've got like Delit and all that, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Now they've got a good not Martinez.
It is Martinez.
It's Martinez. You know, they've got good defenders, Man U do.
No, I agree, Jamie. I agree. No pace in that back line at all.
No, but you can have Faiz who heads the ball back and gives away goals, and same with Oakley who gives the ball away. Again, that's just my opinion. The reason I've took them out is they may not have pace, but they make so many mistakes that I don't think it's good enough. I think you know, the complacency in that centre back pairing, they're way too inconsistent for me. That I think that they should be swapped around. That's just my opinion. I don't think that they've, especially after Man U and Ipswich and Forest, between them, they were just, it was just a bit of a shit show, to be honest with you, in all three of those games, a lot of the times in defence. And realistically, if we're going to defend like that, it is where we start to drop points, because that seems to be our issue. You know, we're conceding as many as we're scoring, and it's an issue. Yeah,
right, back to my midfield then. Do you know what? I'm going to go for my middle two first, because I want them both playing. One and Otte. And the main man, El Canus. He had a very good game versus Man United, who, again, you're going to say lost 5-2. But
it's not 5-2.
He was probably one of the best players on the pitch that day. You can see his qualities in his game again. People,
fair enough. I'm not going to argue that El Canus doesn't deserve to be or be in and around the team, but again, I've not seen him do anything. It's apart from scoring against Man U.
Well, I'll let him have the chance to show what he can do against Man United again, because I think without him we wouldn't have even scored a goal. So again, I'm putting them in, and I might as well put the wingers in as well, because you've only got two positions as well left. So I am going to go Mavididi and Fatawu. So again, I don't think they've been incredible at all. I don't think that they deserve to start, but again, only two players that are kind of in the position to use them, and I don't think you can shout them down because I've not had the greatest of starts in a way. Like they're probably the best wingers we've got, but we've got to give them more game time. Again, we know they're not going to be scoring goals after goals every week.
They're not doing anything though.
I still think they're trying. They're just, again, it's just a harder league.
Mavididi is not.
Mavididi, okay, yeah, I agree that Mavididi is not doing as much as what Fatawu is doing. I think Fatawu is trying a bit too hard at times, but they will. I do feel like they will come. I do think they will come into transition and get some more goals, but we just got to give them a chance. Again, we can't expect to be scoring goals every week with them. So, I will read a few comments here. Craig says, really good, you're going all out attack. I'm not going all out attack. Again, Ricardo will come back into that midfield, into that defence, and then El Canus will cover that midfield spot. This is how we played last season in the Championship. I know it's the Championship compared to the Premier League.
Is this how we set up against Man U?
This is how... Near enough, yes.
And what was that score again?
Again, we did play...
We did have a plan. Didn't we do that against Nottingham Forest as well?
Yeah, but we had a full team then.
And what was the score? What was the score in that one?
3-1, because we gave them 3 goals.
Yeah, exactly. That's
individual errors, not how we set up.
You pick and choose. I think it was a mix of both. I think, we set up to get counter-attacks. This is a format to get counter-attacks.
This is our system that we played last season. This is how we played against Forest in the first half. We looked solid. We just let teams come onto us, and we made errors.
Agree. We were easy to counter-attack, and when you've got people like Faiz and Oakley who make mistakes,
maybe so.
Fun,
maybe so, but maybe they have a 9 out of 10 game.
It's all personal opinion for me.
I don't think.
If I see Oakley and Faiz in that team, I can guarantee they're both going to make a mistake that will lead to an on-chance goal.
Maybe so, but maybe they'll have a 9 out of 10. But I don't think this team is as attacking as people think it is. Again, Ricardo will come back into that defensive side and make it 4 at the back when it comes to them coming on to us. You'll have El Canus or Buonanotte covering that midfield to have that 2 midfield spot, and then you've got 3 up front to attack. Again, this is how we played last season. It's how we played in the first half against Forest, and it looked quite good. So we just need to make sure we don't make errors. And if we don't make errors, we have every chance of winning. I just don't want to be all out defensive and try and counter them. I want to give them a game, and I think this is where we need to do it.
I think there's a healthy balance. I think your team alludes to we can get counter-attacked when we get caught on the break.
But if you hold the ball, they're not going to counter us, which that's what I feel like.
We're not going to hold the ball against Man U.
We did that with our B team.
When we lost 5-2?
Yes, because we gave so many errors away.
Yeah, but how can you say we held the ball well?
It wasn't the way we played. It wasn't the way we played the reason we lost 5-2. It's the fact that we can make so many errors.
I think you're not weighing the positives and the negatives. You're saying this system works well, but then you lose 5-2 to Man U because we get counter.
The last 2 games we've been not slaughtered, but when we've lost 5 goals and we've lost 3 goals to Forest, both of them games we gave at least 2 or 3 bad opportunities away. It's not because we played to let them counter us. We gave the ball away.
It's a system to get counter-attacked. It is.
We gave the ball away. We gave the ball away.
Yes,
you can't. It's not.
Yes, and that's what counter-attacking is.
Maybe so.
When you're attacking and you lose the ball, and therefore your players are out of position.
Curtis.
I'm just saying, in the past 3 games that we've tried this system, it doesn't look like it's working. We've conceded 8 goals.
Maybe
9 goals if you count Ipswich, and I don't think that's good enough.
Maybe so. KS Media here says AU will probably start.
Deserves it if anyone. He's the only one that's been consistent enough. To be honest with you, I think we both probably agree that he's doing it from a sub. So if he can do
I'd take it again. I much prefer him as a sub because again he can control the game.
I wouldn't mind seeing him in there over Mavidi or Fatui, to be honest.
If it was over Mavidi, fair enough. But Fatui, I still think there's a bit of a magic moment there for him in any game that can happen. Curtis here says I'm weirdly liking Reedy's team. KS also say brave setup Reedy. And then Curtis does say, which I've been saying, if individual errors, not the formation.
Not individual errors. I'm just saying that a lot of counter-attacking football obviously happens from this kind of formation of where we put a lot of players up. I'm not saying it's an issue, but I'm saying when you've got players like Ockley and Fies at the back who make those errors, when you allow to be counter-attacked, when you push up, make mistakes up top and allow the teams to counter-attack, you get headers like Fies against Forest, you get pass-backs like Ockley's against Man U that just give them goals.
But these are not the formation issue.
It's both of it. It's both.
This is more players having a bad game.
It's not one or the other. It's both. It's
Maybe
both those they're making bad decisions as footballers, but also letting them be counter-attacked. Like when we got counter-attacked easily against Forest, and Fies' decision was to do a really loose header, which gave Wood the goal. I think it's both. I think the system is great when you've got defenders like that work well.
David here says, imagine if you two coached the team, you would never get a squad out.
To be fair, it's only this week that we tend to agree on each other in a lot of the other ones.
Because we find like there's certain players that are starting to not perform well and whatnot. But
I've done a 180. I couldn't tell you one player other than Hamilton that deserves to be in the team.
I
agree.
As
well, to be fair.
I agree. I don't think Okoli or FaZe deserves that spot in a way, but I don't think we've got anyone back up that I think are quality enough.
You've got Cody and Vescott, both Premier League.
I think if anything, you'd get more counted because they're just that slow. That's all. But in this formation, they don't fit.
But I'm not playing that way.
I know. I'm not.
But you've not got those in because it's a pace thing.
Yes.
If you go back to my team, I'm not playing that system.
No, I get it.
Pace.
No, I get it.
I'm playing the traditional, whatever.
Christmas
tree form.
Go on then. You go in the field. We've talked that long.
Buonanotte. Again, the only player, like I said, other than Mavididi that are actually consistent. I mean, apart from the Forest error, that big error that led to their first goal. But he's a young lad. He's got to learn from those things. So, for me, I put Buonanotte in my team, and
fair enough. And then is there any one man for the job up front, or is Daka coming back in?
I mean, if Daka could do something, that'd be great. But Vardy again, he's been fairly, he knows where the net is. I think he's done all right so far. And again, the competition around him is not very. It's not like they're really competing, is it? When you've got Daka and Edward, who are not really doing anything. So again, Vardy goes into that team for me as well. And
me as well. There are 2 team guys. I get. Obviously, both of us are trying to debate why we should play our own teams. They say there's been a lot of changes or a lot of difference in opinions this show, but again, it's all about opinions on here.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, I don't think any one of us could really name the same team. I think we're all going to have different opinions in that.
That back three will have my heart rate through the roof.
It screams for counter.
No, Jamie, we're joking. It's just because he's back in training. We thought we'd mention him. No Daka this week. Maybe next week.
He come off the bench and do something.
Maybe so.
But he's never going to take off, is he, at Leicester? We've seen it happen before. We've seen it happen again.
But you thought tomorrow won't take off.
I still think he won't take off. He had half a decent game against Ipswich, and now he's the Messiah all of a sudden.
Hey, you didn't see the Man United game. Honestly, I will say this before we go to the score predictions. That
I didn't see the Man U game.
The Man U game, you were saying that we won't control the ball.
5-2.
Yes, maybe so. But when you were saying we don't control the ball, we won't have much possession. When we had the ball, Man United looked very bad, and we controlled the ball. That one moment.
I hate to see them good if very bad is putting 5.
Hey. Come on, you gotta stop looking at them 5 goals. 3 of them were giveaway goals.
I don't care. That's from the defenders you put back in there.
Maybe so, but that's just a one-off.
You just said
it was a one-off. It was a one-off where you can't make them errors.
The players you put in are the ones that made the mistake. Pick or choose your lane, mate. Come on, it's one or the other.
Right, appreciate you coming on. Sam, give us your prediction before we finish.
Oh, I don't know, 7-0 Man U at this rate. Honestly, I'll take a point. Realistically, I'm going to say maybe 3-1. If you put a more thingy team full strength, I've lost the plot now. I'd like to take a point. Maybe realistically, I'm going to say 3-1 Man U. Maybe 2-2 if it's
poor from you, mate.
Well, then what are you saying then?
Realistically, I'm probably going to go 2-2.
That's realistic.
Okay. Well, I don't want to lose.
They're around us.
I don't want to lose.
Go and give them a game. I'd love to go.
Do you know what? If that team starts, we're going to win. If that team starts on that screen,
if my team starts, we're going to win.
No, we're going to get slaughtered 4-0.
No. If your team starts, it's going to be 7-0.
Right. Appreciate you coming in. Terence, yes, I'll see you on Sunday, mate. Appreciate you coming in again. Terence also says 1-0. Craig here says 1-0 to Leicester. Hopefully that'll be the case.
Hopefully saying Leicester. Hope 1-0.
Yeah, you never know. Yes, a win. There you go. And then Jamie, last comment of the day, gives us his predictions for his team. Says Hermanson, Justin, Cody, Faze, Ricardo, Wing, Skip, Mavadidi, Fatih, Vardy, AU, my team.
Probably the most sensible one out of all of us, let's be honest, out of the teams.
Really?
I'm just...
Faze is in there for you, mate.
I'm just saying, like even Jamie said there, he's gone for a different team by a couple of players, and probably positions. We're never all going to agree because we're obviously in that sticky situation of who is good and who needs to be dropped. We'll never know. It's going to be different. Obviously, these next 10 games are going to probably be more unpredictable than when we started. Now, give it 10 games time, we'll probably be there. Like, God, who's even that? But that's the fun of football, and that's the relegation fight, isn't it? Really, let's hopefully see if we can get something against Man U.
Yeah, they're the last views of the team, guys, and we'll catch you all on the next show, which is probably the show tonight, 7:30, with Jono and Simon previewing the game as well, getting their views in and getting your views in as well. So appreciate you coming in, and we'll catch you all on the next show. See you in a bit, guys.
Cheers.